Hello, SpongicX here, and I'm about to play Sonic World DX, which is a fan game revival of the game Sonic World. So, I remembered playing the original version of Sonic World, or should I say versions, there were 10 separate versions back then, and concept-wise, it was a really cool idea for a Sonic game, basically, a modernized version of the Sonic Adventure games, but taking a lot of inspiration from, elements from, like, almost every single 3D Sonic game. You got, like, the gameplay of Sonic Adventure, including some of the bonus modes, like the treasure hunts, but you can do it with any character. So that was the biggest appeal with this game. You get to play as multiple playable characters, and you even have the option to choose to play single, pair, or even team, like in Sonic Heroes, and you even get to customize your teams. And so, I know, like, there was a big controversy with the original one. Something about the original, head of it. I can't remember his name. Ozkarsh or Ozcrash, something like that. But, from what... I don't know the full story, but I know, like, a lot came out about how people were very unsatisfied with the way he treated them, and they quit, or kicked him out of the project, basically. So, the whole game has been taken over by, others. And so, this is my first time playing the DX version. I didn't even know it was out yet, but apparently it came out in September. So, it's weird. I was followed to their channel and all that, and I don't recall seeing these videos, but... So, I played a little bit of it yesterday. I tried doing a video of it, but something went wrong with it, so far, I feel very mixed about this version. Not saying the previous version wasn't perfect either. It had a lot of flaws. I mean, and keep in mind, this is a fan game, but... I've noticed more problems with this version. They were saying how this was going to be a better version since it's under new management, and I don't know. A part of me kind of liked the other builds better. The loading time on this takes so much longer, and this game definitely suffers from performance issues during a few missions, especially in one of the combat levels I did. But I think the idea of this is great, though. I love the idea of Sonic Adventure with multiple playable characters. I mean, look at this. You get to play as... What the hell? Okay, yeah, the controls are acting up real bad. Sonic is running backwards all of a sudden. What the hell? I'm not even doing anything. It's like I can't even pause the controller. What the hell? Okay, all I did was click the mouse and all of a sudden that fixed everything. That was weird, but... Yeah, this game has some really weird glitches. I mean, the original game wasn't perfect either, but I noticed more issues with this build, and this is supposed to be the better build. So, yeah, it's really hard to say you want a game like this officially but, you know, you want it to be made by people who actually know what they're doing, I guess. But there are some neat little stylizations here, though. Like, there, they had it where when you go through the trick rings, the characters do a little, trick, kind of like in Sonic Heroes. That wasn't in the previous build, but... What the hell? And so, one difference I noticed is that, they got different people to do the voices for these characters. In previous builds, they just, recycled the voice clips from some of the more recent Sonic games, starting with, the Sonic Freeriders and all that, so, you know, the 2010s voice cast. And so, I don't know how to feel about them, like, just getting, like, people on YouTube and just, or people on the internet to just do the voices. I kind of liked it better when they just used the actual voices. Not to say that they're all bad, though. Like, I thought, like, the voice they had for Amy was cute. The voice they got for Tails here is clearly trying to sound a little bit like the one from Sonic Adventure. So, yeah, so, Emerald Coast just isn't as fun as, the one from Sonic Adventure. There's a lot of different pathways that just kind of mess you up. You're used to how it went in the original, and so when you try, flying in a certain direction or running in a certain direction, it just takes you back to the place you previously were, and there were some real major glitches, too, like, major errors, like, taking that flight route was actually a good shortcut, but, like, if you try playing through it normally as Sonic, there's a part where he just, like, flings off the edge and falls right into the water, and so another reason why I'm kind of glad that first video I did didn't go through, because otherwise you would have saw me dying a lot, but yeah, this is what I want to see in a future Sonic game, one officially released by Sega. I want one where you got multiple playable characters, and it's possible for every character to go through the levels. Although this game isn't perfect, though, there are certain levels where you will need a certain character in order to progress, and the game doesn't have like a hit system to let you know what characters are best used for these kind of levels, which is unfortunate. Like, I remember there's a part in one of the Seaside Hill levels where you basically have to have a speed character like Sonic to get through. You have to have someone who knows the homing attack, otherwise you're out of luck. But, you know, I miss this kind of Sonic gameplay. I liked it when you could use the spin dash, and, you know, it's like, I was playing, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle recently, and I did, like, a little video where I showed what it was like for, using, one of the character loader mods. I showed what it was like for all the characters to go inside, the Green Hill Zone secret stage, and it just reminded me of, oh yeah, it's like, there's that Sonic World game that kind of let you go through, like, all these levels with different characters. I should revisit that, and then I saw, oh, the new version's finally out, and it's like, I'll try that out, and so it's a mess. Like, look at that. Like, I don't know what it is about this game, but this is just a total mess. It's like, I don't know why, but that just cracks me up, how when you fall in the water, the characters just, like, plant right on their head and die. It's just so abrupt. Yeah, this is one of those mods, or, I mean, fan games, where it tries punishing those who are nostalgic for the past levels. So they put in a lot of dummy traps in certain areas. Like, you know, there might have been a place where, oh, originally you just hit this thing and it gave you rings, and then they have, like, some of those modern things that were introduced ever since Sonic Unleashed, like, you know, you have the dummy Eggman capsules where when you smash them open, you hear, like, that little laugh sound effect, and you lose rings. It sucks, so. I don't know. I just do not like the camera in this game. The physics feel really off sometimes. Like, you remember how it kind of played in the original game, and you're kind of hoping it'll either play better, and instead this is somehow wonkier than the Dreamcast original. It's so messed up. And no, it's not just because I'm trying to play it as Tails. If you try playing it as Sonic even, these errors still occur. The ramps sometimes fling you off way too far, or sometimes they don't fling you far enough, and this is just a mess to play. Ugh. Damn it. Where does it want me to go? Ugh. God, I hate the physics in this. Nothing works the way it should. Yeah, I remember the original builds of this game were kind of wonky too, but not to this degree. And then also, a lot of the areas here were originally automatically scripted, but here, there are certain times where they don't register. So, there are times where I was going through that part I just did, and, like, Sonic ran right off the edge. So, I got luckier that time, though, and yes, I am using the fix patch. Apparently, there was a fix patch released recently, and I did make sure to get that installed, and that still didn't fix the problems. So, I can't guarantee I'm going to do a full playthrough of this game, because it's pretty flawed. But one thing that is cool, though, is it does have a slight improved version of the Chow Garden. It's like where, instead of having separate gardens, you got one big hub, basically. And so you can choose, like, to take your Chow from one end to the other. And that's kind of cool. And it is slightly improved upon. Like, it's not as in-depth as the others. Like, it doesn't have, like, where the Chow will transform appearances or anything. But here's one thing that's cool. Remember how in the other games where right when you enter the Chow Garden, it just dumps everything? Well, here, you get to choose where you want to be before you dump your inventory. And it lets you store up a lot more inventory than Sonic Adventure 2, which only allowed you to carry, like, what, 10 items at a time? So, yeah, and then you might have noticed there are a few new stats, too, including, intelligence, luck, and, it even lets you know when a Chow actually learned a new ability. So, like, once you level their run ability up, it'll flat out say they can finally run, so they're no longer crawling. And so, little touches like that are really neat. So, yeah, I do think the Chow Garden was a neat idea, although it would have been neat if they did manage to find a way to have it where the Chows will change appearances. And then, they also have, you can use this bag and pretty much put items in it, and that's your way of selling things. And then there's also a garbage bin, so if you don't want to sell it for whatever reason, you can just throw things away, but personally you're better off selling it. And then somewhere in the level there is the black market where you can buy things, like the outfits, and there's also a little warp zone that takes you to the Chow races and the karate. So yeah, it's really neat how, like I said, this game does feel like a love letter to the Sonic games, and they added a new mode in this game called the Island mode, and as far as I know, this is kind of a throwback to the game Sonic Jam. I never played it, but I could definitely recognize there's like that 3D hub area in the game. So it was kind of teasing at like what a Sonic game on the Sega Saturn or a 3D platformer of Sonic could have been like. And so I know it's like they kind of took like a little inspiration for that and they turned it into like a big hub world here. There's more to explore, and apparently the more you'll unlock in this game, it'll unlock new buildings. And so here you got like the little flickies flying around, and you got a few buildings that are still in development, which so you got like a sound test room, and then you got like a museum mode, which is still in development, so you have to wait for an update for that. But so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time in this, because there's really not much to see or do yet. Oh, I somehow missed that. There was an underwater area. I somehow missed that when I first played this, but otherwise I thought I explored most everything when I played this the other day, but I don't know why, but this is giving me like Wii Sports Resort vibes. Kind of reminds me of Woohoo Island. Not sure what that does, but what was that card for? But well, I guess I did explore every inch of this level, but to be fair, I was playing as Amy when I first went here, so she can't fly like Tails can, so Tails can obviously get around more, but then up here we got Tails' workshop, I think. So those are like that thing I collected is like your emblems, kind of like how in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. You gotta collect emblems, which unlock more features in the games. So there's not really anything you can do with it yet, but there is a little, like, wave bike you can rent, or hop on, and it can allow you to drive across the water. But once you get off of it, it disappears forever, so that's kind of unfortunate. But I also noticed there's a bunch of NPCs lying around, and a lot of them, look, they almost remind me of like the characters like the background characters you see in the current Sonic comics from IDW. And then, speaking of which, right here is one of the characters from... I never really read the comic, so I don't really know the characters very well. So I know like this is a little bug character. I want to say her name is Jewel or something, or I don't know, but Jewel the Beetle, I can't remember, sorry, but I've seen some people talk about her, but it's like the only characters original to the comics I'm familiar with are Tangle and Whisper. But so okay, let's go back to the main game. So also, the more emblems you collect, you also get more characters to play as. So originally you start off with just Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and then you got to unlock Cream, Shadow, Silver, Rouge, Omega, and Espio. I do like the new character select screen. The original, the characters were just like in a default pose, and they were just spinning in place. And so it's kind of cool how they gave them their own little dynamic poses. Feels very Sonic 06. Sonic 06. Did I say 06? 06. Ugh, don't you hate when your tongue slips like that? Yeah, like I said, I do not like the loading screens in this. They take forever. The original wasn't perfect at loading, but man, it definitely loaded faster. I mean, even on the newer computer I have, it still struggles to play this game. I need to try getting a new graphic card. Like, I have, like, one of those, GeForce RTX, or, GeForce, I can't remember what it's called, but it was like a 960 something, and I know the ones that people are going for now are like RTXs, and so I'm like with the previous gen basically. So I'm looking at getting like one of the RTX 300s or something like that, or 3000, whatever it was. And luckily I looked at my computer specs, and a new one should be able to run on my computer, but. It's like the specs on my computer are really good. It's the graphics card that needs to be better. Like, I even had someone look at my computer once when it had, like, a bit of an issue, and he said, like, the specs were really good. It's just the graphics card that could be better. Right now, I can't really afford it, but I'm trying to get a job right now. There's one I might be getting soon, but I need to make sure it won't interfere with my SSI payments. But, won't be making a whole lot, though, but still. Still better than my current situation. But. So, yeah, Shadow plays a lot like he did in Sonic 06, and Rouge is very unique in this game. She instead of gliding like Knuckles, oh, that was a weird glitch. She just kind of froze in place while kicking. Yeah, I don't remember there being such, like, I do think the moveset in this game is kind of cool, but it is very glitchy, even compared to the previous builds. But yeah, she doesn't play like Knuckles anymore. She actually does have her own flight ability, and she seems to have a cartwheel attacker. I don't know what that is, but and then she also has, like, an uppercut ability. It's also a good, like, high jump attack, so that's cool. And let's see. I haven't played as Omega yet, but well. So he doesn't have, like, a lock-on flame. Oh wait, maybe he does. Okay, he does. You just have to press the L button. Okay. Yeah, luckily this game does have, like, those little control prompters on the side. So, like, as far as I know, each character has, like, each character has their own little, spin attack, basically, but, or a replacement. So, characters like Omega and Amy can't spin up in a ball. Instead, they have, like, a charge attack. So, Amy's is where she, starts, like, rapidly spinning her hammer around. Where, for Omega, he has this drill attack, which is definitely new. Pretty cool, though. Well, this is what I mean by how the game feels so unfinished. It's like, in any other Sonic game, like, the controls would have been locked to keep you on board, and there, I almost slipped off way too easily. It's like, yeah, it's like I said, a fun idea, but buggy mess at times, and this level gets really bad the further you go. I remember, like, there's a part where the camera just becomes very uncooperative. You can't rotate it. And there are so many levels where, especially due to, like, the camera in this game, it makes it pretty much, like, impossible to want to play through levels if you're not a flying character. It's like, that's why you're better off playing in team mode. Have at least one speed character, one flight character, and it's like power characters aren't really necessary in this game. Like, almost every character is able to have some form of combat, some better than others. So obviously, like, if you want to, like, have, if you want to, like, fight characters safely, you're better off playing as Cream the Rabbit. She plays a lot like she did in the Sonic Advance games. So yeah, I forgot to mention, the little animals that you saved in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 are not in this game, but they did bring back the Chow drives, which are your main source of upgrading your Chows. They added a lot of new Chow drives too. They even have one that raises your stamina, so you no longer have to keep force-feeding your Chow fruit just to get stamina. You can now give them their own individual drives to help it improve it. That's really cool. And I forgot to mention, there are, like, multiple different missions for these levels. Some of them are pretty easy, and some of them are just so frustrating, especially with how broken the gameplay is. There's no point in trying. The time limit challenges, especially, are just god-awful in this. It just does not give you enough time to even have a chance at competing. Even with flight characters. But these can range from, like, the treasure hunts, from Sonic Adventure 2, except making it possible for every character to compete in them. So, like, obviously you're better off using a flight character or a character like Knuckles who can glide and climb. Like, compared to a speed character where it would be much harder for him to navigate some of these towering levels. But it's still cool, though. It allows players to try a different challenge. See, like, I could definitely see some people wanting to see if they can make it through each level with each character. I mean, yeah, that'd definitely take a lot of time out of your life, but something to keep you busy, at least. I do admit, the way you change characters in this is really uncomfortable. You have to just press the L control stick. I wish they just had, you know, so you can't just press one button to switch between left or right. That's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, this part is the worst part of the level. Like, the camera here just does not cooperate anymore. Or at least it did when I was playing yesterday. It's working better today, but, for some reason it wouldn't let me, like, move up or down. And it kept jittering like crazy. So, it's working better now, but it wasn't like that yesterday, I swear. So, I'm having a little bit of better luck playing it today. I don't know why, but, it was really acting up on me. But there are still... It's not perfect, though. There are definitely hiccups here and there. But, yeah, good luck getting through this part with just a speed character. It's like, you definitely want a flight character for this part. But yes, like I said, this game is not perfect, but it has the right idea. Like, Sega needs inspiration from this. They need to make a, you know, I'm so tired of just Sonic being playable. This is the kind of Sonic games people want. Okay, oh god, why did they have to bring this level over? That is one thing I don't like about this modern build of Sonic World. They try taking more inspiration from some of the mechanics that were in Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Lost World, like the skydiving segments or the gimmicky levels like this. So, if you thought this level was hard in Sonic Lost World, it's worse in this. The controls are very unresponsive. There are times where you're moving right and the characters don't move at all. So you push harder on the joystick to try and make it register, and then all of a sudden the characters just fly off, like, right off the edge of the stage. It makes no sense. But yeah, you're better off using a flight character for this mission. Cream the Rabbit especially, because she can use like cheese to fling some of those bugs. But like otherwise, like it'd be easier to use a homing attack. But the homing attack is kind of unresponsive in this game. There are times where it kind of cancels out when you're rapidly pressing it. So yeah, it's like, well, ideally you're better off using a character with the homing attack for taking out the Buzz Bombers. It's not cooperative or reliable enough to... You're better off just using a flight character and trying to avoid them as much as you can. But easier said than done. Luckily, this is an auto runner, though, so you don't have to worry about pushing up on the joystick during this part, but it's still really tricky. You don't have to worry about the boss fight at the end, either, although there is a separate mission in this game where you have to fight off a horde of enemies, and then you have to briefly fight, Zomom at the end, or was that his name? The fat guy? Or... So I think this level was in one of the previous builds of Sonic World, but Zomom was not programmed into the game, so that was an added feature. Okay, Love Garden? I'm not sure, but I think this is supposed to be a level from Sonic 3D Blast. I've never played that one all the way through, but this is a very different level in the fact that it has kind of like an overhead view. The camera's really far out, and you can't really change it either. Although, strangely enough, you can in the second mission. The second mission plays exactly like a level from Sonic 3D Blast, where you defeat the enemies and you gotta collect the flickies. It's a little more forgiving, though, because it still has that annoying gimmick where if you get hit, you lose all the flickies you collect. But you only need 5 to get through the level, and there's plenty of opportunities to pick up more flickies. Especially considering how some of the flickies are impossible to get back, because some of them fly off like way too far to where it's impossible to reach them. So, yeah, these levels just weren't really built for some of these different missions that they had set up. It's like, that's one problem a lot of people have with Sonic World. It has a lot of great ideas, but it doesn't have the understanding on how to implement them. It just shoves all these ideas into the game without properly programming them. And a lot of people thought that might have just been a problem with when Ozcrash was in charge of this game, but even without him, the problem seemed to be worse than ever. I have yet to see anything in this game that I can flat out say is a huge improvement. Like, so far, a lot of the levels I'm playing were ones that were directly from the last one. Although they are definitely different, though. Like, the Emerald Coast one and the Seaside Hill level is very different, but you do get the option to play the original version of, the version of Seaside Hill that was in the previous builds, that is actually one of the separate missions in the Seaside Hill level, but... Like, I've played Sonic 3D Blast before, but I've never played it all the way through, so I'm just guessing that this was a level from that game, just judging by the gameplay, and especially since there's a flicky mission, but... Because a lot of these levels are taken straight from the games, or they're... This is almost like an inspiration from Sonic Generations, where, originally the goal of this game was they wanted to take every single Sonic level and make it playable, even if it was a game from the Genesis. They wanted to try to find a way to rebuild it, and... So, I definitely say Cream the Rabbit is a character you definitely want to play as in this level, because some of these enemies are just bullshit unfair. It's almost hard to see, like, those grasshopper enemies, or the mantis enemies. Okay, let's see. Let's change characters. I'm not sure what I think about Amy's moveset in this game. I kind of liked it better in the previous games, especially some of the later builds. They had it where you could, like, change the buttons a bit to... by default, Amy has a double jump ability, but they did have it where you could press a button to trigger her jump status, so when you switch modes, it allowed her to go from double jump to homing attack, and so that was kind of a cool compromise. So you didn't have to worry about having a double jump that accidentally triggered a homing attack. You could swap between them. That was a cool idea. And here they got rid of the homing attack, and she can't roll into a ball anymore, so she can't really pick up speed by running down hills anymore by curling up into a ball. So that's a change that a lot of the characters got. Everyone could roll in the previous build, but not anymore. Otherwise, I still like playing as her, though. Like, she's still fun to play as, but I kind of liked her moveset in the previous one better. Then that feels very unresponsive. You think the double jump sometimes doesn't register, and that's a common issue with almost any attack in this game. The ones that are supposed to direct melee, sometimes the hit detection registers, like, way too late, and so you get hurt by the enemies, despite how you timed it really well. And so this is Amy's spin attack. Instead of curling in a ball, she charges her hammer and does a long spin. Kind of cool. So, of course, Cream plays a lot like Tails, except she has cheese as a projectile. And she actually can spin into a ball. Oh, and she has a... I didn't see that ability when I first... She also has Thunder Shoot. Cool. I somehow missed that when I played it yesterday. And, so, then Silver, if you're thinking he plays exactly like he did in Sonic 06, he almost does, but, his, dash attack is a little longer and takes a little more recovery. He doesn't have the hover anymore, but, well, I mean, he still has hovering, but it works kind of like the flight formation, but he can't go any higher. And then, let's see, he has a Psychic Cutter attack. Let's see. And his spin dash is more of a rush attack, and then, they made his, like, psychic powers actually an ability. He can still pick up enemies and throw them around, even objects. Some levels even added a bunch of boxes to the side. However, the way you trigger it is very different, where in Sonic 06 you had to press, like, the R trigger to pick them up, and here you do it with just one button. You pick it up with the X button and throw with the X button. And you don't have to hold it, like, you just press it now, so you don't have to hold it to keep it in place, but... I don't think it works on projectiles, though. There's a bit of cooldown time when Silver uses his psychic powers, though. Because they got rid of the psychic gauge, so instead you gotta wait for a bit of a cooldown time to make up for it. This is a feature I always wanted in Sonic Heroes. I wanted it where you could customize your own teams, and that's one thing I love about this game. So if you wanted to, you could have an entire team of flight or speed characters. It's not recommended, though, but it's still cool. So it allows fans to use more of their imagination. If they always want to see what it'd be like to have certain characters who never interact with each other go on an adventure, well, now's your chance. I don't know what this is, but this is a new power-up. I want to say it's a shield, but I don't know. I was hoping, like, it could allow you to, like, bowl over enemies, and no. I think all it is a shield, but, But so far, this might be my favorite level in the game. I know, it's kind of hard to believe. This is a level I complained about for being in every Sonic game, but it's one of the more fun ones here. But that is one of the biggest problems I do have with Sonic World. I do think some of the levels do drag on way too long. They can be fun for a little bit, but then it's like, it's still going. What the heck? End already. From what I've seen, the grind controls seem to be a lot better. Remember them kind of being a little... there are times where they just, like, stopped in place in the previous build. So here, I haven't had any problems yet, but I don't know. Maybe I've just been at the wrong levels, or the right levels, I should say. But they also added in the rings that you saw in, like, Sonic Unleashed, where they're worth more than one. So you got, like, the 10 rings, the 5 rings, or technically, I should say Sonic Advance 2, because I think those were introduced in Sonic Advance 2, but... Yeah, so far, Amy and Cream have been some of my favorite characters to play as in this game. Like, I want to try to show off some of the other characters, but otherwise, for the rest of these videos, I might just play as, at least Cream and Amy, and then maybe have someone else different for the third character. Possibly a speed character like Sonic, but... So I think Amy is treated more like a power character in this game, instead of a speed character. Considering how all the other speed characters can use a homing attack, but Amy can't. Whoever voiced Cream in this game really sounds a lot like the one voice she had in Sonic Heroes. I do like the effect for the flame shield, though, the way it spirals around. That's kind of cool. So yeah, you might have noticed, like, this version of the game has a lot of different, like, restylings. Like, the 1-up symbols look very different. Instead of, being an icon of the characters' heads, it's instead like those up arrows, or a set of up arrows, whatever you want to call it. Well, the water physics here are not very good. Wasn't a splash effect or sound when going through that. But... I do like the animations in this game. They are a huge improvement over the previous builds. Previous builds, the characters just stood around when you completed a level. So here, they do like their own little victory animation. It's a real nice touch. All the other levels are ones I have not played on this build yet. Misty Gorge, I don't think this is a level from a past game. It's like most of the levels are brought over from other games, or reinvented from other games, but this one might be original. And there are mods for this game. If you go to the official website for this fan project, there are mods, but most of them are for previous builds, so... Remember, like, one of the mods let you play as Styx the Badger. One of them let you play as the characters as they played in Sonic 06. So, like, they use, like, the same models, the same physics, so... I never really liked these skydiving sections that they introduced in Sonic Unleashed, or the cannon sections from Sonic Lost World.
Please, take it easy on me.
I always get nervous in these narrow levels. Always gotta have a flight character. Oh god, these controls are awful. Now you know why I like to play as the flight characters. They should have got rid of the life system. Crying out loud. A game where you can easily die due to bad game programming. We don't need lives. I'm definitely having a slightly better time playing this compared to yesterday. I was getting frustrated yesterday, and to the point where I was kind of glad that the footage I recorded did not go through. But, I hate it when developers do that. It's not fun to troll your audience like that.
My training is tested.
Oh, what the? Controls were kind of acting up there. I like how his shurikens kind of home in on enemies. Kunai hook, what does that do? I didn't do anything. Oh no. God damn it. That came out of nowhere.
I'll do my best.
Okay, and that's the reason why I hate the modern Sonic games, because I hate it when, like, at 1 minute you're just having fun with the 3D gameplay, and then all of a sudden it changes in the middle of gameplay, the structure. I had no control over that. All of a sudden it turned to one of those auto runner sections, and I was moving right, and then it caused the character to just fling off the stage. So, yeah, like, this is what I mean about how I don't like how this current build is trying to force in these annoying segments from the more modern Sonic games. They just don't fit. This game was originally the perfect getaway from those. It felt more like it was trying to be a Sonic Adventure game. Now, it feels like it's literally trying to be everything at once, and it just doesn't work. They need to take, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't like those parts from those, even those who like Sonic Unleashed. I can't say people like those parts, so why do people want to see that shoehorned into a Sonic Adventure-esque game? These levels just are poorly designed. Even with the arrows, they still don't do a good job at telling you where to go. Like, I don't know, like, they need to have, like, more pathways, and just having an entire level mostly just brown with no little, you know, if they had, like, little yellow bricks to kind of give you an idea of where to head, a little pathway, that would help steer you in the right direction. But here, it's like, I don't know. What the hell? So this is an auto runner too. Ugh. Now it is. It didn't do a good job of letting me know the auto run was over. It's like the designers have it in their mindset when they want things to end, but they don't do a good job at letting players know when things should end. All the time, at least. I mean, here it flat out showed that, yeah, this is a hang gliding section, but these controls aren't working. It said press B to descend, and it did nothing.
Better not mess up my hair. Please, take it easy on me.
Oh, no. No. I don't care how cool the snowboard is. I know it's going to make the direction steering terrible. So, nope, 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 nope. Then also, if you fling off an edge, you wouldn't be able to fly. So, yeah. Yeah, using cheese is very unresponsive, though. Like, there are certain times where you press the X button for Cream to throw cheese, and he doesn't shoot out fast enough, so it feels very unresponsive at times. Like, I can understand you can't spam him like crazy, that'd be too easy, but still, he doesn't come out when he's supposed to. And so far, Shadow's the only character who has an alternate costume, and it's just like one of his orange alternates from Sonic. Shadow the Hedgehog, I mean. Metal Harbor. I remember this was kind of a faulty level in the previous builds of Sonic World, so hopefully it's fixed up a bit. I noticed a lot of these levels have remixed music this time around, where previous builds just reused the original music. And even the missions have separate music.
Please, take it easy on me. It's my turn now.
Ah, fucking hell. Why does this game have to mess with your expectations? What was wrong with just running through the end like in the original? Why did they have to add a stupid auto runner section out of nowhere? Without warning. This is one thing I'm looking forward to with Sonic Frontiers. I'm not expecting there to be such, like, switching moments. Like, it is confirmed there will be some side-scroller sections, but at least they word it like they're going to be their own separate levels, instead of just coming at you out of nowhere. So personally, I like the 3D gameplay of Sonic Unleashed a lot better. Everyone says how much better the side-scrolling was, and honestly, I hated the side-scrolling in that game. I just wanted it to be a pure 3D platformer, and ever since Sonic Unleashed, we couldn't have gotten a pure 3D platformer. Even Rise of Lyric had forced upon 3D moments, or side-scrolling moments. Those were arguably the worst part of the game for... I mean, everyone says how bad that game was. I didn't think it was god-awful. I'll even say I like that more than Sonic Lost World and Sonic Forces, but it definitely wasn't the best Sonic game, but I don't think it was a disaster like everyone makes it out to be. Most people haven't even played it, and you can tell just by the Wii U's low sales. But I was one who had a Wii U, and I had that game, so yep. I do like how a lot of these levels do have more paths. This current build does have more paths to make it more possible for certain characters to get around it. Okay, I'm remembering why I hated Metal Harbor in the previous builds of this game. It's because of this. Like, this underwater section goes on forever. There was no underwater section in the original. And you can't switch characters when you're underwater for some reason. So, that's a problem, because Cream can't really smash through boxes on her own. And then they had spike boxes through some of these, well, spike balls through some of these boxes. Real dick move. If I recall, you gotta find a hidden switch. But yeah, this sucks. This really sucks. I don't get why you can't just switch characters when you're in this mode, and... I got out of that easy, but in the past I struggled during that part. I think the air bubbles might be new. I don't recall there being air bubbles in the original, so that helped out a lot, but still annoying to get through. Honestly, I wish they just kept it the traditional Metal Harbor, though. I don't like how they had to forcefully extend this. Now it feels like it turned into Wave Ocean a bit, like Shadow's version of it in Sonic 06. Most people complain, like, modern Sonic games, the levels are too short. Well, I complain that this one's too long. It's like there needs to be a good in-between. Or, heck, even have some levels be shorter, some be longer, but they don't... Not every single level needs to be as long as this. It just drags on. It's like a 3-minute run. That's fair enough for a lot of levels, but anything further than that, it's just annoying. It's still not over. I need to remember to go to the Chow Garden after this. It's been a while, but... Not even the original version of this level was... I mean, the one from the previous builds of Sonic World. Not even that was this long. I can't even remember what was past that underwater part. But I remember there wasn't much of the level after that, but... It felt like it dragged on forever. I unlocked Mighty. Honestly, I wish they'd just let you, like, dump them all at once onto the Chow. Instead of... Like, it's still an improvement over how things worked in the original, but it still would have been nice if you could just... Instead of waiting around for the Chow to absorb one, just keep letting it go back and forth between them and get it over with quicker. But I hear a lot of people say, you know, they're always so disappointed when Sega never brings back the Chow Garden, that they say, just make a mobile phone app out of it. And I'm like, no, that would kill it. One thing I always loved about the Chow Garden was how it was more than just a Gigapet simulator. How it was, you know, it accompanied another game. So it's like you played a level of Sonic and then you collected all those animals you saved, what to do with them, go into the Gigapet mode, and there's something fun about just controlling these Sonic characters, interacting with these little creatures. And I feel like you would lose that magic in a mobile phone version that, you know, and then not to mention all the microtransactions that would definitely go with it. So, no thanks. I'd rather have that added as a free feature for an actual video game we paid money for. I don't know. I just feel like I could definitely see, an app, like, if they brought it back into a game, I do think it would be a nice feature to have it where you could connect to a website that lets you drop off the Chow on your mobile phones or something. I have no problem with that, and that would be a good replacement for, like, the Chow Walker that you had on, the VMUs originally for the Dreamcast. So, yeah, I have no problem with that, but anything else, no. Green Forest. I can't remember if this was in any of the previous builds, but not familiar with it, but...
Don't get in my way.
I hear a lot of people say they hate this level. Now, I don't think it's as good as Shadow's counterpart. Like, White Jungle's definitely better, but I don't think this is a bad level. Like, I think the scenery is nice. I don't think the music's as good as Shadow's version of this level, but still. I don't think it's a bad level, though.
Not gonna hold that out on me. You can count on me.
Ah, shoot.
It's my turn now.
Oh, shoot.
Please take it easy on me. It's my turn now. You can count on me. It's my turn now. I'll do my best.
I'm just gonna say Mighty's voice could have been a lot better. I mean, to be fair, we never really heard Mighty's voice in any adaptation, because he never had a voice actor, but, it sounds like, when you compare it to the other characters in this game, though, even the ones that are voiced by just fans, clearly, they still sound like they're doing a much better impression, but then there's Mighty. Gun soldiers. Oh yeah, I was wondering like why gun soldiers were here, but it's like, oh yeah, it's not too far from Prison Island. So, and there were gun soldiers there in Sonic Adventure 2, just not in this level, but they were definitely part of Prison Island in a way. But at least the robots were. It wasn't until Shadow the Hedgehog where they kind of appeared in these levels, but. And they even have the artificial chaos enemies from both Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog. Something weird about like the way the camera just keeps like clopping around like as you're going through the loops. Yeah, Sonic and pals are just killing humans in this game for no reason. That's another reason I'd love to see a game like this get made officially, because what kind of story would they tell if a game has this much freedom? I don't even think it needs a story, though. Like, I'd be fine if it's just a sandbox game like this, where just a bunch of different levels, and it encourages you to try playing through them with every character to unlock secrets, and fine by me. As long as it plays better than this, but... So yeah, I was a little too hard on, but I guess I was having a worse day yesterday. Things just weren't going right when playing it, so things are going a little more smoothly today, but it's still flawed, though, but still hard to say if this is better than the original build or not. I mean, you could say it's like a few steps forward and a few steps back in certain spots, but... Kingdom Valley. That's like my favorite level from Sonic 06. I don't recall this being in any of the previous builds of Sonic World, so... I just love this level, like the scenery, the music. It's just such an epic level. Yeah, it's from a game that's not so epic. The sad thing is it could have been. Like, Project 06, that's the best way to play Sonic 06, and it's not even finished yet, and already it's a better game than... I was really impressed with Project 06. I can't wait till they finally add in Silver Story, and then, you know, add in all the other stuff like the boss fights and all that. So it skipped like it skipped the opening part of the level, but went straight to like Silver's part of this level. It's not the same without all the physics destruction though, and it definitely like the visuals on this definitely look worse than not only Sonic 06 but even Project 06. Something about the visuals that don't look as polished. But so I don't know what collecting the red star rings do in this game, but yeah, they're adding the DX version of Sonic World. Ugh, I hate when they change things around like that. What the hell? Oh, I think I see. Oh. Is there a way to pick that up? That was weird. What would have happened if I accidentally kicked that off? I hope it would have respawned, but knowing how the rest of this game works, I doubt it would have done that. There are so many moments in this game where if you mess up on one thing, it doesn't respawn like it should. So you're basically forced to either kill yourself or retry the level. Not fun. It's just such a primitive option in any game. It's like most video games are really good nowadays at trying to prevent, you know, if like you need an item that has to go in a certain spot, they'll make sure that has some kind of recovery time or point. So if it goes missing for a certain number of times, it'll respawn to like a certain checkpoint or stuff like that is really needed in a lot of games, in my opinion.
Let's go.
Let's do our best.
Too bad they don't have the Team Blast functions from Sonic Heroes. That would have been cool. Especially since so much of this is basically a good hybrid of the Sonic Adventure games and Heroes. So. Well, one thing I like about this over Sonic Heroes is how you can control the flight characters on foot. They're not always in that stupid flight formation. So I always hated how, like, there are certain times in Sonic Heroes where I just wanted to control Tails on foot without having Sonic and Knuckles constantly latched onto his feet. So I like how you can do that in this version. And it's so cool how when you do fly, though, then the characters do the flight formation. And it's not very well programmed, though. Like, sometimes the characters fall off, but still, it's a cool little attention to detail. A lot of one-ups in this stage. Again, it just makes you wonder what's the point of one-ups in games anymore. Even in fan games are useless.
Excuse me.
Get ready.
The Sonic, the guy that got the voice Sonic in this game definitely sounds like a nice homage to Jason Griffith's Sonic, which was my personal favorite Sonic. I do like how it sounds like for Sonic Frontiers, Roger Craig Smith really stepped up his game. I was impressed with what I heard so far. It sounds like he's trying to do less of that campy Sonic he's been doing for the past 10 years, and he's trying to sound a little more serious as the role, which is nice. Whoa. Definitely a shortened version of Kingdom Valley. You didn't have like the epic waterfall scene at the end, bummer. But... And then they didn't but on the bright side, less loading screens. So, that's a plus. That's another reason why I like Project 06, because the loading screens went by a lot faster, but it still had those annoying loading points, but still, at least it went by faster. Hang Castle. Let's see, how many more levels do we have, though? Not a whole... Yeah, there's definitely a lot less levels in this build. That were... You know, there were more levels in the previous builds, but... I mean, at least this is only a demo build, you know, it's not the full game just yet, but... That's one thing I hated about these, though. It's like, you're afraid to put time into them, because you know it's not going to be the final product yet, and so... you know, you have, and the fact they force you to unlock things as you play. So that means every time a new build comes out, you're probably going to have to start all over again. Unless they can finally come up with a way to allow you to transfer data over, which is very unlikely, but it would be nice. So that's one reason I took a long break from this series, because I at least wanted to try this out because I noticed that because they're calling it the DX version, it might mean that it's going to be very different. But oh, the music here is very different. But oh, that camera angle is weird. I remember in one of the previous builds of this game, Amy had a projectile attack where she could shoot hearts out of her hands, and I kind of hate how they got rid of that. Mr. Red Star Ring. I also remember how in the previous builds, like, Amy's hammer had a bit of a homing attack mechanic to it. Like, when you swung at an enemy, she would, like, suck right towards it, or get attracted right towards it, and you don't get that anymore, unfortunately. Or, like, when she did the double jump, even, it sometimes kind of locked in towards enemies, and I'm not getting that anymore. Kind of sucks. I wish there was a way for her to use her hammer spin attack without it working like a charge attack. Sometimes I just want to do it while standing in place without being launched across the room. She just smashed through cages. Cool. Uh-oh. I remember when I first played this game as a kid, I would die a lot during those grinding sections. Hated those. They're a little easier nowadays, but they were hell as a kid. So it's like, even to this day, though, I can't go through those without being a flight character. Controls in Sonic Heroes were just way too slippery. So easy to accidentally fall off if you weren't a flight character. That took forever to trigger. Did it even trigger? I think I'm going backwards. What the hell? It just keeps sending me back to the same place. It's supposed to flip gravity, right? It's not doing that. Now it worked. Oh, that was broken as hell. Just kept warping me back to the same spot.
Not gonna hold back. You can count on me.
That's the first time I got the lightning shoot. And I lost it. This damn coast come out of nowhere. hate those dummies.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
I don't know why Thundershoot isn't working. It tells you, like, when you jump, press LB to Thundershoot, and it doesn't work. Well, at least those big robots are much easier to take out in this game. They took forever to knock out in Heroes. Can't tell what way they want me to go. But, oh, here we go. How did I miss that?
Don't blink.
You can count on me.
Let's ride.
Baby Rose is here.
That was fun. Let's see, I think like 3 or 4 more levels to go. Well, the last level isn't anything special. It's basically just a testing ground level. Oh no, I don't like the sound of this. A Sonic Lost World level and a sucky one of that. Bummer.
Let's ride.
Oh shit. Oh no, this is even worse. This is a Sonic Forces level. Forgive me for getting it mistaken, both of them have a bland aesthetic. I was thinking this is one of the jungle levels from Lost World. It definitely looks like it though, but... So this is going to be an auto runner stage. Fantastic. And then it doesn't even bother telling you when it's going to stop being an auto runner. That's the worst part. 1 minute it is, and then all of a sudden it isn't. Well, at least this is playing, but I remember in Sonic Forces, like, levels like this, it was easy for the characters to run off the track, especially if you're trying to do it under a time trial, and haven't had that problem so far. At least I'm able to steer my character. So I did notice, like, I haven't triggered it while playing it today, but I did notice, like, yesterday, Amy does have her catapult ability from Sonic Adventure. If you get enough speed and press the X button, she can launch herself. It's kind of unresponsive at times, though. Sometimes it triggers, sometimes it doesn't, so I wouldn't rely on that, but... Okay, I see. Actually, I found out what the problem was. You have to hold the button for it to work, but... Ah! That was unfair! Oh, out of nowhere, it wanted me to play as a flight character. And, oh god, the gameplay was acting up. I can't even turn. Characters are stuck in place. That sucks. Never mind. This is playing worse than Sonic Forces. That was just such a cheap death. It didn't give you enough time ahead of time to let you know you gotta be a flight character. I just saw that hoop and I thought, oh, I can just jump at that. And then all of a sudden you see the wing symbol. It's like, oh yeah, you should have had that like miles back there, not right at it.
Sorry, Mr. Robot.
Get ready.
Damn it. How did I get an S rank on that? I died at least once. Unlocked Ray. Not really in the mood for changing characters anymore, but... Oh, Crisis City. This level really dragged on the original builds for Sonic World, so hopefully they shortened it a bit. I remember the time limit challenge on this was a pain in the ass. I can imagine it still would be. Yeah, there's definitely some levels missing. Like, I remember there was Twinkle Park, some of the Space Colony Arc levels. So, yeah, there's definitely quite a bit missing in this build. Oh, the snowboarding is new. For Sonic World, that is. The original one had you just running down the cliff. But Sonic actually said the city's on fire. So that's cool how they actually add some character-specific lines for some of these levels. Whoa. There's something so cool about seeing, like, characters who weren't in these levels finally getting a chance to play through them. Especially a level as tragic as Crisis City. I always love this level. There's just something so hauntingly epic about it. The music on the area is such a banger. Not a banger, but it's just so good. Even this remix of it is pretty good. It definitely sounds like it's inspired by the Sonic Generations remix of it. Ah, why'd I do it? Sometimes you see a spring and you think it'll lead you into a different direction, then it made you realize, like, oh no, that was from a different path. That was the end of a different path. So I didn't need to go through that.
Let's go.
Well, I can definitely say this level had quite a cool major overhaul compared to the previous builds of this Sonic World game. This is better than I remember. Enjoying it so far, at least. Hopefully nothing ruins it.
It's my turn now.
Uh-oh. That part looks like it could have been easy to die on. Like, if you missed that spring, you would have plummeted right to your death.
So sweet.
Dang it. What the? That was weird.
So sweet.
I'm starting to notice they are recycling a bit of the track layout already. It's not an exact copy, but they definitely copy and pasted some elements that were already used in this level. Whoa.
Let's do our best.
Let's ride.
Not gonna hold back.
Cool. Dang it.
You can count on me.
Get ready.
Whoa.
Roses here. Let's do our best.
Oh no, I thought that was an obstacle at first, but that was a speed ramp. But luckily I was able to jump over that gap. Well, that was fun. If I'm not mistaken, the next level is really hard. I'm gonna need a flight character, so I might have to change characters a bit, but... Worst case, like, this is a really tough level. Oh, I can't... Apparently I haven't unlocked it yet, but, I remember, like, this is an auto runner that goes really fast, and, it's, like, almost impossible to play as a speed character. You gotta be, like, a flight character to even stand a chance, but... So, otherwise, this is the last level I have available that I can show for now, and so this is just a test stage, and... I don't know why, but so many 3D Sonic fan games have this test stage somewhere in the game, and I think even Project 06 had this somewhere. But so it obviously shows that a lot of people take like some kind of engine that some fan made, and they use that as a base for building their fan games. But that's not what I imagined Ray sounding like, but. Okay, so you periodically press the A button for him to swoop up and down, kind of like the Super Cape, or how Ray actually played in the games. Kind of cool. I like how it even works with the flight formation. So, okay, let's see. So he's basically Tails, or he's like a mixture of Tails and Knuckles, but he doesn't glide though. Well, he technically glides, but with more of a swooping maneuver. So. You could say he's more of like the expert mode version of Knuckles and Tails, but otherwise he has Tails' tail whip attack. But yeah, so there's really not much this level. It's just a test stage, so it allows you to test out like all the game's mechanics and physics. And I know it's like the mission mode on this is very broken. Like I tried playing the last mission listed here, and the game crashed on me when I did that, so something about this isn't properly working, but,
Please, take it easy on me. Here we go.
like, there's even a part of this game that, is a test track for, like, the side-scrolling sections. I think the snowboard is a real missed opportunity. Like, I like how they finally add a button that allows you to hop off of it in this game. I don't think that was available in the previous versions. However, there's no way to respawn it. So, like, if you want to get back on, tough luck. So I think that was a huge missed opportunity. But, yeah, this is the side-scrolling section, and it really acts up when you're on the snowboard for some reason. So now all of a sudden I'm playing like in a side-scroller form, like in Sonic Unleashed. I know the treasure hunting stages are missing in this build of the game. So like, yeah, the treasure hunting stages aren't the best, but honestly they are more tolerable in this game compared to how they were in the adventure games. Especially since you could be any character, so you didn't have to worry about digging for them, you just had to be on the lookout for them. And it still had the radar to let you know, like, when you're getting warmer or hotter. You didn't have to worry about relying on stupid hint systems or riddles to find them. And like I said, it's possible for any character to go through them, so, it's kind of cool to have, like, a team. So it's like there's some that are easier to get by flying over, there's some that are easier to get by, punching through enemies, using a heavy character, and it was a really cool idea, and it's kind of a shame that this build got rid of all that. So you still can download like the previous build, but it's not perfect though. It is going to have some glitches and performance issues. Like, so far I would say this is slightly performing better than the previous one. I was just having a real bad day yesterday, but it's running better today overall. But well, like I mentioned, the game's not perfect though. Like now, all of a sudden the game's stuck in a side scrolling form. So yeah, it should have got out of there as soon as I left. But bummer. Otherwise, I think that's all I have to show for now. So, Sonic World DX, it's a neat idea, but it needs a lot of work. But hey, it's just a fan game, so it's not like people put money into this. I do hope the series can go forward, and I do hope to see it get better and better with each new update. But it still has quite a ways to go, but it's still such a neat idea that I'm just dying to see an official game of this. Sega needs to make a game like this. get someone who knows how to properly take what worked about every 3D Sonic game and make a perfect love letter to it. Not necessarily a love letter either. Although I love the gameplay here, it's still relying too much on just recycling levels that have already been done, even if they are trying to do a lot to change them up. But yeah, personally, I'm just tired of Sega constantly recycling ideas. Every time they have to try to, it's like everyone praises it every time they make a new side-scroller game. It's like, okay, they're showing that they still care, but can they finally make one that doesn't rely on rehashing Green Hill Zone or Chemical Plant Zone for the 100th time? I mean, come up with new ideas. If you want to make a new forest level, fine, but don't use the same music and level layout as before. Make something new. Don't just take Green Hill Zone and have it covered in sand like in Sonic Forces. Just make a new level. So, but yeah, anyways, that's all I have to show for now. So, thank you for watching. See you next time, and have a great day.